everybody, and to say that we've had technical problems would be like saying the Titanic had an ice issue. But anyway, we're here. Good to see Amedeus back. I'm sure that and hope that he had a lovely Thanksgiving in beautiful Canada with his lovely family. And Amadeus, it's great to have you back.
Yeah, it's great to be back, Jim. Wouldn't be a show without technical difficulties.
It's
the way we do it around here.
Technical difficulties, that's for damn sure.
Exactly.
Right. So anyway, we talked yesterday, and just rehash some of it because some of it can be fun. About about college football over the weekend. Of course, we saw the Red River Classic return to its prominence, where it was a very entertaining game. Not only was it entertaining, it had significance for both Oklahoma and Texas, which is how the old games played, and so that willed out and was quite an entertaining game, with Oklahoma knocking off Texas.
Yeah, Oklahoma. I love me some Oklahoma this year, Jim. That defense was good.
Well, it should. I mean, that's the calling card. The coach's calling card is his defense. When he came over from Clemson, that's where he got that's where things were good for him. Not so much for Dabo Swinney since he left, but definitely, it's been a good thing for Oklahoma. And they just kind of swapped places with Texas in the poll, which I thought was interesting. I don't know about you, and I'm not going to get you hung up in this. You've probably heard about it now, but I had been watching. That was on Saturday night. I was watching SC in Arizona because it was a very entertaining game, and I flipped over because I checked my phone, saw score close, wanted to see how Miami was doing. Checked to see the Canes. They looked like they were salted away, so I went back to watching the SC game because Miami had the ball and they had like less than a minute left. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So I go back. I get an alert on my phone about 5 minutes later. It says Miami loses to Georgia Tech. And I'm like, how is this possible? They had the ball. They had they were there to kill it off. All they did was go take the victory, the victory formation. And I know Coach Cristobal pretty good. I know that Jimmy Johnson taught people how to take the victory, the victory formation. Evidently, he missed that day because he, for some reason, decided to hand the ball off. They fumbled it. They lost the game. And what I thought was kind of interesting, and I'd like your take on this, is the next morning, everybody was crucifying Mario Cristobal, saying, what an idiot move, what a stupid move, what a dumb move. Look, that's all absolutely academic, right? I mean, he knows that. They acted like he didn't realize that it existed, okay? Now, the 5 seconds after the game, the first person to say it was a stupid move was Mario Cristobal. But the next day, everybody in the media is like, oh, I can't believe he did this. Oh, I can't believe he didn't know it. Oh, I can't believe. It's like, okay, got it. Get it. He was stupid, okay? But to think that he didn't know it is crazy.
Yeah, something definitely going over there. I don't necessarily know if he didn't know about it. It seems more like somebody wanted to run a play, and he was like, all right, let's do it. I won't step in. I know there's that theory around about the guy who was close to getting 100 yards.
That's the thing. That was the case. The case was the kid who was the running back who fumbled the ball, whose name escapes me for the moment. I apologize, although I'm sure that he doesn't mind at all that we can't remember his name. Basically, had about 6 yards to go before he'd get his first 100-yard game. And so Cristobal decided, okay, well, we got nothing to lose. You know, sorry, Mario, you do. And so he gave him the ball. The kid fumbles the ball, and 24 seconds later, they lost. And look, nobody knows that more than mom than Cristobal or the kid that fumbled it. So all right, you want to beat up on Mario Cristobal, fine. Go ahead, beat it. Beat up on him. But to act like he doesn't know it was coming or it couldn't happen is just absolutely insane. Of course he knew it could happen, and it did happen. But that could very well cost Miami some serious situations because they've got North Carolina this week.
Yeah, I think the other thing that really bugs people on the decision is it wasn't like they were in control of the game. It was like, what, 3-0 at halftime?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was already a close game. You're going to be lucky to escape with a win.
Yeah.
Just take the knee.
Exactly, 100%. Give the kid a chance, a 100-yard game next time, or when you're playing somebody where you don't care. But this isn't a huge game because they got Carolina this week, but they both would have been undefeated coming into that game. He's still got Florida State at the end of the season, so there's still work to be done with that Miami team. So that I think
they even have to play Louisville. It looks like
that's another one.
the new power.
Yeah, Louisville's become the new Clemson. So the and their defense was just brutal on Notre Dame, and Notre Dame gets SC this week. So
they might have been looking ahead too.
Yeah, they might have been, but if you are after you just blew 2 weeks ago had that Ohio State thing happen. Coach Freeman's he didn't suddenly get dumb. I just think that this Louisville team didn't get as much credit as they deserve. I mean, they weren't even in the top 25.
Yeah, and that wasn't even a game they really needed to win. Like, they could have lost to Notre Dame, and you're still undefeated in the ACC.
Mm-hmm. But I think the point on Louisville was, that look, we can say it all we want to. That Notre Dame is around the ACC, right? Yeah, okay, fine. They're not a member in football, but
like half the ACC on their schedule.
Right? Exactly. But Louisville and Notre Dame don't get an opportunity to play each other often. Okay, and the fact that Notre Dame was coming to Louisville, I mean, you gotta believe when Notre Dame comes to town, regardless of who they're playing, that is a game you circle on your calendar. Okay, if you're a fan, if you're a player, if you're a coach, you want to beat Notre Dame. It's still a brand. It's still a team that needs that you respect from a standpoint of it is the brand in college football. Everybody else is under it. Regardless of whether they're winning championships or not, Notre Dame is a college football. They may be the only team that people who do not follow college football know is a college football team. So Notre Dame comes to Louisville, and they don't expect to get a fight from a team that at that time was 4-0. I mean, so I do believe Coach Freeman expected to play a tough Louisville team. And I think he realized that, in that game, that Louisville was for real. And frankly, Louisville might be the best team they played so far.
Yeah, definitely. Their mistake was whoever made the schedule on that one.
Right.
Play Ohio State at home, go on the road to Duke, on the road at Louisville, and then back home to USC.
Right. Yeah, it's like, hey, no problem. If we win 2 of those games, we're lucky.
If you win everything, you're a playoff team for sure.
Oh, absolutely, 100%.
Like, good luck winning them all.
Right. So, so I'm watching this game, and by the way, Lincoln Riley, if you're watching, and we know you are, I got a bedtime, okay? 2 a.m., come on. Let's stop with this. And what are you doing 3 overtimes? That's nuts. So we now know that something that you said a long time ago. SC plays great offense. They play terrible defense. So
They don't have defense.
well, you have to have a defense before you play.
They don't play defense.
Good point. Yeah, that you have to do. So, Caleb Williams has got his hands full because he's going to Notre Dame. They're going to be able to put some points up on Notre Dame. But then again, given what we've seen so far from SC, so is Notre Dame going to be able to put some points up. And that's the primetime game this week. That's the, on NBC, Notre Dame and SC, as it should be, as it always is, a top game. And this week, I'll be honest, I don't know who to pick. It's early, but I really don't know because SC clearly has defensive woes, but they can score on anybody. And Notre Dame's got, issues. I don't know whether they're defense issues or offense issues, but they got issues. So we'll see. I mean, that game, I don't know what the point spread is at this point in the week, but I assume it's going to change between now and Saturday. But it's going to be a very interesting situation, that's for sure.
Yeah, so Notre Dame opens up 2.5 point favorite at home in that one.
Ooh, okay. So that's basically a push, right?
If it's a field goal game, depending on the line you get.
Right. Oh, that's under a field goal game.
Yeah, the 2.5. So if you take Notre Dame, then even if you win by field goal, you're good. Now that could change. Obviously, it's early in the week right now.
Depends on where the money's going.
Yeah, USC could even be the favorite by kickoff.
I'm going to go that, and this is not. We will wait till Friday to make our choices on that. But I will say this: I think the money's going to go Notre Dame's way, given what we saw with both teams playing last week. I think that Notre Dame's going to get a whole lot more of a pass for what happened in Louisville because Louisville's a good team versus what SC did against a not so great, Arizona team. Now, that being
both
said,
Arizonas.
Yeah. That being said, what they're doing in Arizona, they're definitely committed to a program which will be a winner in the Big 12. There will not be a bad team in the Big 12. There's no question about that. And right now, there isn't a bad team in the Pac-12 if we find that out. I mean, after what we've seen this weekend. So I think that Notre Dame's going to get more of a pass for what happened to them, given how talented the Louisville team is, as opposed to what SC's getting grilled for in how they played in a triple overtime game in a game they should have won by 25 points.
Hey, you know what? The rebuild is real in Arizona, and we've talked about it before. Jed Fish was doing on Sandy 2 years before Dion was doing it.
Yep. And he's, but you're right about both those teams. Both teams in the state of Arizona, they're not. If you sleep on them next year, you'll lose. And
yeah, 100%
this year, if you sleep on Arizona State this year, you're probably going to lose.
Yeah. But you know what I was going to say about that game?
Yeah.
Don't blame Riley. You should be blaming Jed Fish there for not going for two and just keeping his ass in the direction.
That's a good point. That is an absolutely good point. 100% good point.
Okay, you're a 20-point dog, and you want to go into overtime with one of the best teams in the country?
At their house.
Just send the game.
Just saying, right?
But they pulled the Commanders. They had to go and lose.
That's right. You have nothing to, no riverboat on that one. We move to the NFL. The Dolphins look very good on Sunday. Jacksonville wins. I wouldn't exactly. I mean, Jacksonville had a definite advantage by staying in London for a week, and so that
who goes to London on Friday morning?
Somebody who thinks that will help them get over the jet lag. Okay, now if you've ever been to Europe, okay, you realize that the concept of flying to Europe because of the time difference, what you want to do is you want to stay up for your normal system, right? You don't go to bed the moment you hit, you know, um, London or Paris or wherever. So I don't know what they were thinking, to be honest, because that's not enough time to acclimate yourself to it. It's just not. You know, you're not going to be anywhere near your best that, you know, in that realm. You need at least 4 or 5 days to get your, you know, to get some sort of bearings there. So I have know what the hell they were thinking. Clearly they weren't thinking, or they would have done something about it. Let's see. Guess what? This just in. Denver is bad.
Yes.
And I don't know what the hell Sean Payton was thinking. But to call out the Jets and say, that might be just one of the worst coaching jobs in all the NFL. The week before you're playing them? What the hell was that? Jeez. Then they go and win. Yeah, worst coaching job in NFL. Might just be Denver, and it might be just you. Okay, so, you know, just saying.
So I've heard this theory about the Broncos. And I want to hear what you think about it.
I'm buying. What is it?
So the whole theory is that Sean Payton is purposefully making Russell Wilson look bad so they can tank for a quarterback.
Okay. All right, for a moment. Let's just say that that's true, okay? When Sean got there, who did he sign off on as his quarterback? I mean, they literally traded a king's ransom to get Russ. If he wasn't your guy, what the hell? Why'd you do that?
Well, they did that when Hackett was there.
I understand, but what I'm saying is, Sean, okay, when he got there, said, "Oh, no problem. We'll work with Russ. Russ is our guy." He could have traded Russ. It's not like other people wouldn't have taken him. So, I mean, if it wasn't his guy...
Well, you could argue he's doing the same thing Brian Daboll's doing. Oh, yeah. We'll work with Danny Jones. We'll make him look good this year.
Yeah, good luck
but
with that.
next year we're tanking.
Well, and then, you know, Boston... Let's shift real quick to New England. Where Boston radio is saying,
they're just bad.
Yeah, where Boston radio is saying, you know, I think it's time for Belichick to go ahead and retire. And, you know, like I said, coaches don't just suddenly get dumb, all right? But you can't win when you don't have the players, okay? Belichick, you know, he's a Hall of Fame coach. He will be in the Pro Football Hall of Fame 5 years after the day he decides to stop. And if that's this year, then whatever. But I think you've established this way long ago, and I'm 100% behind you on this. Mac Jones is not the answer to the question, who is the quarterback for the New England Patriots?
We've been preaching it before the season started.
100%. You know, 100%. Now, they might be legit in going after a quarterback without tanking. This might be a job where they just are that bad that they can't get out of it, and they can't pull out of that tailspin. So we'll see. We'll 100% see on that.
I think what's going on in New England is very similar to what you see going on with the Giants. And a lot of people are quick to attack Bill Belichick. Because, you know, it's easy, obviously. It's easy to say he's going downhill. He doesn't care about the team anymore. But I think he's being handcuffed in this situation. It's very clear. Yes. It's very clear that Kraft has made Mac Jones the guy with Mac Jones. And who's the other one who's done that? Well, John Morrow over in New York. He told Daboll and Shane, you hire a new head coach and a GM, and you tell him this is your quarterback.
Right.
It's never going to work out like that. And, we see it all the time just with the Dallas Cowboys. What happens when the owner tries to get their hands in the football decision-making process. So I think that's what's happening in New England with Robert Kraft.
Okay. Well, I mean, I know Cam Brown, whose mother lives about 3 floors above me. Cam plays he's a linebacker for the Giants. And God knows they are horrible. As a matter of fact, his mom texts me all the time about how bad they are, as if I have a vote here.
Get my son off the team.
Yeah, basically, yeah. Can we get somebody to trade Cam? Trade Cam to a warm team. Maybe trade Cam to Miami or Tampa.
To the Niners. Send him to the Niners.
Well, I don't think she wants to fly that far. But
go win the Super Bowl.
Yeah, exactly. I was holding the Niners to last, but okay, fine, we'll go there now. If there isn't anyone out there who didn't believe that the Niners were as good as you and I mentioned throughout from almost day one, that they're the best team in the league, please watch the video from Sunday's game, because that was an old-fashioned beatdown. That was an old-fashioned beatdown.
That was another one we were on from before the season.
Right.
The 49ers were harping on them.
Yep.
And they're a team that looks legit.
Oh, they don't have a flaw. They got a running game. They got a passing game. And again, the running game, it's not one guy. McCaffrey, sure, 100%. Christian McCaffrey is, if he's not the best back in football, please do not come to me and tell me somebody else is. Okay? He's been that way for a while, but now he's back in the San Francisco Bay Area where he went to school at Stanford, and he's balling out like crazy. Brock Purdy he's got what, 4 receivers he can throw to that are legit stars?
Yeah. Ton of weapons.
Oh, come on. And then we're talking about the O, right? But the D is what put Dallas under the carpet the other day. That defense was brutal.
Yeah, and so the thing I love about that game is right after the 49ers blew them out, you started seeing all the headlines like, the 49ers exposed the Cowboys. I guess we thought the Cowboys were going to be good this year, and they're not a good team. Let's get something straight. The Cowboys are a good team. They might be a top 5 team in the NFL.
Right.
And that's why what the 49ers did to them on Sunday night is even scarier.
Right. Again, it's that hot take concept where, this could have been a closer game. Okay, it should have been maybe. We didn't think so, but all right, if that's where you want to go with it, fine. Where's your theory of the case? Who did Dallas beat? I'm sorry, who did Dallas beat that impressed anybody?
2 New York teams and New England.
Yeah, exactly.
Got shut out by Derek Carr at home.
Yeah, there you go. And of course, above us, Cam's mother knew that. The other part of this was kind of lost because it was the first game of the season. And that comment after the game, when they lost to San Francisco, I think it was 23-0, was the opening game, I think, was the Steelers at Pittsburgh. And they asked him about his thoughts of the 49ers. And he goes, I don't want to see them again, okay? I don't want to see them again because the defense is scary. The offense is good. The defense is scary, okay? He said, and they said, what if you make it to the Super Bowl? He goes, if I make it to the Super Bowl, I do not want to see them again. Because what part of I don't want to see them again are you not getting? He goes, if they're not the best team in football, I don't want to play the best team in football. So from day one, like you and I, Tomlin was on it and said, basically, these dudes are scary. I don't want to see them. If Tomlin says that, I'm buying it. And we've been on the Giants. I don't know if the Giants. We've been on the 49ers since day one. And I think that's going to be a very interesting situation how that comes out. One thing I wanted to get to before that, but that's okay, no big deal. Speaking of Mike Tomlin, the Steelers win a game where literally John Harbaugh and that Ravens team is literally I can't stress enough how underachieving that team is. They've got wide receivers that have brick hands. They cannot catch a cold. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
You talked about the game the Steelers won that they should have lost by double digits. Yeah, that was something else to watch. I had a bet on the Steelers money line, and I was not comfortable that entire game despite cashing it.
Well, Kenny Pickett came through in the clutch. And, it wasn't like Lamar wasn't playing and throwing the ball. It was you got to catch it, guys. If you don't catch it, doesn't matter if he can throw it. He can throw it anywhere. If you can't catch it, it's not going to help.
And you know how there's certain quarterbacks where it's becoming very clear they have problems with interceptions?
Right.
Seems like Lamar Jackson and Trevor Lawrence have problems with fumbling the ball.
Oh, yeah. And they joke about Kenny Pickett's hands. Remember that was the big thing with Kenny Pickett? Was he's got a small hand, so I don't know if he's going to be able to hold on to the ball. Well, Lamar Jackson's hands aren't small. He just can't hold on to the ball. And you're right. I mean, look, it never comes at a good time when you fumble the ball. But it seems like Lamar's problems with fumbling come at the worst possible times. I used to say that about
critical
moments. Yeah, I used to say that about James Winston. And that was that people would say, well, what about his interceptions? Look, his interceptions are not necessarily the problem. The problem is when those interceptions occur. You're ahead in the game and you're throwing a ball and you throw into, pick six territory, you're going to get, eventually that's going to come back to haunt you. And in the case of Jameis, who, now is, on milk cartons here in the United States where people they don't even know where he's playing anymore. It's one of those situations. And look, Lamar, it's not that Lamar can't play. He can play with anybody in the league. I mean, he's proven that. But, the combination of terrible receivers who can't run routes and the fact that they can't catch, that's not a good combination at all.
Yeah, him and Trevor Lawrence. Mm-hmm. I think they're both on teams that have the potential to be great.
Yep.
But you got to cut it with the fumbles.
Yep. You got to go to the old school, right? Go to the old school route where Jimmy Johnson, if you fumbled, would make you carry the football all week. Off the field, on the field, no matter where you were, you carry your football with you to remind you that that's what you're supposed to do.
Somebody in college basketball last year had that. I forget which team it was. But they called it the turnover rock.
Yeah.
And whoever the most turnovers after the last game had to let the rock around in their back from class to class.
Right. That was Kentucky.
Yes, there you go. Got to take the turnover rock model.
Yep.
Trevor, you're bringing this everywhere with you.
Well, that's what
until Sunday.
Jimmy used to do that if Canes had if the Canes had issues with fumbles, the guy who fumbled used to carry around with him. The funniest one, if we're gonna go back old school, right? That was Hank Stram. Stram used to have, if you made mistakes on Sunday, Stram used to make you carry a banana peel. with you all week, and you're thinking, what the hell? A banana peel? The shtick with Stram was the banana peel is you slipped on a banana peel, meaning you made a mistake. One more banana peel slip means you're slipping out of the league. So we're slipping out of the starting lineup. So what is bad? People would ask you. I mean, think about how long a banana peel if you carry it around with you. It's not gonna be. It's not gonna get any better. You're gonna know that banana peel when you come back and turn it in at the end of the week. That banana peel has been, well understood what you carry it around for. Whatever it takes to remind you that not to do that is probably a good deterrent against doing it again. So there you go. Let's downshift a couple things we can get to here real quick. The Texas Rangers. they couldn't win, in a T-ball game the last week of the season, and now, they knocked off the Rays. They're damn close to knocking off the Orioles. They will have knocked off the two best teams record-wise in the American League. I don't think anybody saw it. Let me just say this. I'll make it easier. I didn't see that coming. The Rangers are ball, and so, of course, are the D-backs. Now, the D-backs, you called on that.
Yeah, in the regular season, I thought the Dodgers were going to take care of business here, but man, they've been pathetic.
Well, they were pathetic. Okay, and once again, like a sucker, I watched the Dodgers to the last out, and they were so close on a couple of fantastic plays made by Arizona, and some good pitching, by the way, from Arizona. And then I saw the Braves and the Phillies. That game, that double play in the ninth inning that the Braves pulled off. Man, you could have put like some Three Stooges music behind that one, because that one was just they have Albies makes the catch in center field against the wall, misses the throw to second base. The shortstop is coming across, catches the ball, throws it back to first base to double up Bryce Harper, who went too far around second base. So he had to, when the ball was caught, he had to run back, touch second base, which he slipped on, to first base, which he didn't get there on time. And as crazy as everything went, the thing with Bryce is it was in front of him. He could see it. He could have gone to second base, stopped, and if the ball would have been missed, he still could have made it third. He had second and third and one out. But no, his aggressiveness, and this has gotten him into trouble throughout his career, was to run to score. He was going to score that tying run if that ball was a double. But it turned out, guess what? It was caught, and you got caught up in first base. So the game ends with a double play. Again, the Phillies looked as the better team, but going to Philly, it's going to be tough. The Braves know it's going to be tough, but it's not. They can't close out in Philly.
Yeah, I'm shocked the Phillies don't have a 2-0 lead here.
Well, look at how well Zach Wheeler pitched. I mean, he had no hitter going into the sixth inning.
Yeah, 100%. I think they even had the lead early in the game.
They were up 3-0 with Zach Wheeler dealing.
Yeah, I thought for sure, goodbye Braves, goodbye Dodgers, goodbye Ward.
Yeah. Just check them off. It's like
who would have thought the Twins Astros is a competitive series?
I can tell you right now that there are Eric Shanks at Fox is praying to God that somehow, some way, the Dodgers pull through on this thing, because the concept of the Arizona Diamondbacks playing against the Texas Rangers or the Houston Astros in the World Series is not a ratings winner for Fox.
Yeah, the Diamondbacks. They might get by the Dodgers. If you look at the Dodgers, all of their starting pitchers on the IL.
Yeah.
Walker Buehler's out.
Yeah.
I think Urias is out.
Yeah.
Dustin May had that injury earlier in the season.
Right.
So they're dealing with no pitching right now to cut them some slack.
Certainly no starting pitching.
But at the same time, the Diamondbacks don't have that great pitching staff, and you're talking about one of the best offenses in the MLB.
There's no
Expect
excuse.
more from the Dodgers.
There's no excuse. Okay.
Yeah, especially with that pick.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like the Diamondbacks have Cy Young staff. They don't. There's no excuse. They're not hitting at the right time. I mean, Freddie Freeman was up with a chance to tie the game and he struck out.
And now they get to go to Arizona for the next game. Who had to cancel a concert. They didn't expect her to play, I guess.
Yep. Oops. I had family who went to the Orioles Rangers game on Saturday. At the last minute, I got a phone call, said, "You want to go to the game?" And I'm like, "Well, gosh, I don't, I wish you'd have told me a couple hours ago. Maybe I would go, but no, not at this point." So they went out to the game, and their situation was not different than what you're talking about. Although it wasn't the game, the Ravens Stadium and and Camden Yard, for those who are not familiar with it, they basically are next door to each other. Okay, so they share a parking lot, which is why they don't schedule the Orioles and when the Orioles and the Ravens are playing, they don't play at the same time, because there's just not enough parking for both of them to be there. So there happened to be, when they got out of the game, there was a Stevie Nicks, Billy Joel stadium concert at M&T Bank Stadium. So anybody leaving the ballpark at the same time that the crowd was coming in for that stadium concert was in traffic hell. So in that regard, I'm kind of happy I didn't go. But it was, the Rangers are playing good ball. We'll see how that plays out. The Phillies and the Braves, that's going to be it's going to be a battle now, which I think the Phillies were, kind of expecting that wasn't going to be the case. And we'll see if the Dodgers can come back. I don't know what's going to happen in the Twins and Houston. I did not foresee last night that Houston would lose. I thought Houston would be in a good shape, but they're not. So we'll see how that plays out in that regard. So
the Astros have to stop the Twins. Anybody who has Dallas Keuchel on their pitching staff should not be allowed to grow series.
I would go with that, but Rocco Baldelli's my boy. I gotta be careful with him. Known Rocco since he was a rookie and playing, as a player, and I'm just so happy that he's doing well as a manager. That said, Dusty Baker is also one of my favorite people on the planet, and I don't want to see, I don't think it's a good result for the league if the Twins, and like I said, if the Twins and the Diamondbacks are in the World Series, I don't know where Eric Shanks is going to hide. I mean, it's just not going to be good for the league from that standpoint. You can't just have two teams like that.
It would be nice to see the Twins Rangers and the Diamondbacks Phillies, or even Diamondbacks Braves.
Right.
See if we can get like the lowest rating World Series possible.
Well, Diamondback Braves can't be in it because they're in the same conference.
No, I mean like those as the ALCS and
Oh, yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Yeah, that wouldn't be bad. To me,
and it would have to be somebody.
Right.
In the World Series.
Gotta be somebody. Well, look, we're contractually obligated to talk about it. I know it's early and nobody really wants to go into deep, but the NHL starts tonight, and a couple of things to keep an eye on. This is the healthiest that the league has been in a long time. The franchises are in pretty decent shape. The contract that they have with ESPN and with Turner gives them more opportunity for national games than they've ever had before. They're on par with the NBA in that regard. So that's all falling well for them. And the early favorites. Now I don't know what the money line favorites are, but the early favorites from the writers who follow the teams this year, they have the Golden Knights and the Florida Panthers in the Stanley Cup final at this point. They have the Vegas Golden Knights as the number one team in all of hockey, with the Panthers right behind them.
Interesting. Doesn't even have a top 5 team to win the cup.
I'm sorry?
Vegas doesn't have the Golden Knights as the top 5 team to win the cup this year.
Huh. Interesting. Who does Vegas think? Yes. Speaking ironically of Vegas, the hometown team.
Yes. So Vegas is the Leafs. Plus 800 favorite.
Oh, okay.
Then it's the Avalanche plus 900. Oilers plus 900. New Jersey Devils plus 900.
Whoa.
Carolina Hurricanes plus 900.
Whoa, okay.
And then the Knights plus 1100.
Wow. How about that?
They don't even have Florida. Florida's like plus 1800. They're number 12 on the list. No, 16.
Wow. 16. That's wild. How about that?
No, 12. They're number 12.
Okay, that's still down the list. It's not the cup. Yeah, wow. That's pretty wild. It should be a fun season. We'll see how everything plays out. We always get a surprise in there, and we'll see who that surprise is this time around. But anyway. All right, any final thoughts before we get out of here on what has been an interesting start to the day? Those of you who stuck around, we greatly appreciate it. Stuck around for the open, not stuck around for the end. But anyway, we greatly appreciate it. And we will be back tomorrow, and we'll have some fun stuff going on. We'll have some very interesting things going on. But more importantly, let's get to Mr. Amedeus to find out what he's got going for us today.
Yeah, you get my picks at BigAl.com, HickAdvisor.com, and TheInsidersRoom.com. I'll have 2 college football up for tonight. I have a bunch of other college football up for the week. And going forward, it's going to be a lot of football, basketball, and soccer. There's an international break right now in soccer. So we'll have some international plays up for Thursday. But it's just going to be a lot of football for the NBA starts.
There you go. All right, gang. Have a lovely day. Thanks a lot for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.